Good evening. My name is Thurman Greco, and the name of this show is Let's Live, and it's coming to you from Woodstock, New York. And I am in the midst of doing a series of programs about Woodstock writers. And I have a very interesting guest this evening. Can you hold up your book?
Yes.
And what is the name of your book?
It's called The Reluctant Psychic. It actually came out 5 years ago. So it's been around, but it's actually been around the world. They translated it into Portuguese, Brazil. It's popular in Australia. I did an Australian book tour. Yeah, it's quite popular.
I did not think that I could do a series of shows about Woodstock writers and not include you. I don't care whether the book was written 25 years ago. It's a Woodstock book.
Yeah, it's popular too. It's still in the shops.
Is it really?
It's still in. Golden Notebook has it. Mirabai has it. I have it in hardcover, and it's literally all over. I get fan letters from all over the world.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting thing about books. You write the book and you put it out, and you have no idea what's going to happen to it.
No.
And then it does what it should do.
Yeah.
So tell me about what's the name of the author? How do you go?
It's complicated because I have two names. When I wrote the memoir, I used Suzan, which is my birth name. So I used my birth name, Suzan, because it does talk about my childhood, which was kind of scary. But most interesting, childhoods are really. And but everyone in town knows me as Fiona, which is the name of my dead cat. When I moved to Woodstock, everyone has such interesting names. They had Thistle and Willow and Rainbow and,
Yes.
Woodstock names. So I decided, well, Fiona means other fairies, so I like that name very much, and I love my cat. So I named myself Fiona after my dead cat. So Fiona became my other name. So now it's complicated because I have two names, but I go by Fiona in town.
If you go by Fiona in town, setting the book aside, how does somebody reach you?
On my business card, it says Susan Fiona Saxman.
But do they reach you? Do you would
email?
Email.
Only email.
Okay.
I don't do phones anymore at all.
What's your email address?
It's SusanFiona.com.
Okay, that's easy.
That's easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're still doing appointments.
Appointments 6 days a week.
Wow.
It doesn't matter if we have, but I only do 1 or 2 a day. So I save up my energy with that. It's crazy because even during this pandemic, doesn't matter, they're still coming. And it did slow down a little bit in March and April, I have to say, but it's phenomenal how people find me, and they come from everywhere. But when they try to make appointments and they ask about the plane schedules, I get intimidated because I always think, how about if it doesn't work that day, if I have a headache or something, because I do tend to get migraines, and I don't want the responsibility of causing someone, to come by plane to see me. I get intimidated by that.
Do you do distance work?
No, I don't do any electronic.
Absolutely.
No, I don't. For me, maybe it works for other people. For me, I will refuse to do electronic anything. I don't do Skype. I don't do phone. They have to be in front of me because I truly believe that what I do has to do with, I think spirits are electronic energy. I combine spirituality with science, and I don't think you can truly do a reading without the person sitting in front of you, because I read the energy that's around them. And the other thing I have to say about that, which is it's sort of frustrating, but it's also funny. I started doing the readings back before we had high-speed internet and G5s and all that, the fancy fast internet.
Yes.
that stuff has messed up with my communication.
Really?
Because what I'm picking up on the airwaves is frantic. It's not calm anymore. When spirits come through, when energy comes through, when visions come through, it's fast. It's like a high speed. It's like a if you're playing a slide projector at full speed, it's coming that fast for me, and I have to grab them fast when they come through. And then
Okay.
it's
Now,
weird.
is it coming that fast because time has sped up? Or is
Everything's
it
sped
coming
up.
that fast because we have sped up?
We've all sped up.
Everything.
Everything has sped up, and I always imagined me going to a Woodstock town hall meeting and say, "Excuse me, but the 5Gs have affected my right to my business as far as being able to talk to spirits." Wow, they'll like that, wouldn't they?
They would. They'd
They
love
would
it.
actually.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet, but maybe it's still time. Maybe I should.
Or is there? I haven't paid any attention to what's happening on the town board since I worked in the food pantry. But I can imagine that going there, you could do that.
It
Why
would be-
not?
It's probably a circus anyway.
Oh, it
Just be
is.
one
It's
more-
definitely a circus.
performer.
But, absolutely.
I mean, it's been weird enough through the years doing what I do, and I'd be the first to admit this is probably the weirdest job anyone could have, and I've been doing it full time for the last 35 years.
Wow.
That's all I do. And then and now there's a very, very strong option, and I'll be helping to write the TV series that goes with my life.
That would be
Somebody
fun.
really wants to do it, and also from the perspective of the clients that come. And I have so many stories piled up from the last 30 years that goes way beyond the book.
Well, now I don't watch television, so is there a TV series now, including a psychic now?
They've had them in the past, but I think what they like about me is I'm not like the others. I'm kind of to say this, and I'm sure people will get, well, I don't care if they get the, people who know me know that I prefer animals to people.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
I would be lying if I said I didn't. So I'm kind of like the psychic who is like at the end of the day, it's like, bye everyone, I'm gonna go home with my dog. So when you leave, it's not like,
Yeah.
I'm not one of these doting people who are gonna be like, oh, humans are so great, I'm gonna save everybody. No.
Of course not. I much prefer dogs
I
and
much
cats.
prefer
Definitely.
dogs. Yeah, I prefer all animals, and I don't think humans have done very good to the planet, and I could get started on that rampage. So, I have to say that the people who are interested in the TV show are people who have worked in the rock and roll industry, and they're very much, they like me. They like me for that way of thinking. I'm kind of the rebel psychic who's not all healy-feely.
Is there an organization of psychics?
I wouldn't join.
If
It's an
there
organization that I would never want to join because there's probably too many rules, just like every other club. I do not join anything. I don't want to be a part of anything. I am a lone wolf.
you work on your own.
I work on my own. I don't want anyone telling me that what I'm doing is wrong or not the way to do it. I don't follow rules. I'm the rebel psychic. I'm not only the reluctant psychic, I'm the rebel psychic.
One of the things that impressed me about your book was that you had a series of questions that you answered. And I really liked that.
Yeah.
I thought that was very nice. So when people come to you, do they come to you with questions, or do they just come to you and say, I have a problem?
They say I'm better than a psychiatrist
Oh, of course.
because, but it's, I don't know. I just know things. talked about medication with people, and that's probably something that I have no business doing, and yet the information comes through. I talk about stuff
you
I
have
know
to just
nothing about.
But no, that's not true. You have to, if you're going to, I would think that if you're going to give a reading that has some relevance and something comes up, then, I mean, well, now wait a minute. Do you ever, when you do a reading, somebody comes in and wants to discuss A, and you're dealing with A, but all of a sudden in comes B?
Oh, it's all over the place.
Okay.
It's whatever comes through, and I think of myself as simply, and I think I said it in the book too, I'm just a radio that's receiving information. I'm just an open channel, and I know it's coming from a positive place. I'm not afraid of anything in the supernatural world. I'm not afraid of possessions or dark spirits or dark forces. I don't have any of that around me. I don't even have nightmares. I think that people are afraid of things they don't understand.
I agree with that totally,
Yeah.
100%.
There's nothing
Once you
negative
understand
around.
it,
yeah, it's
you're
not
not
scary
afraid of it.
anymore. And I always tell people in lectures that I've done not to be afraid of the dark. But if your child says, "Mommy, there's a monster under my bed," there might be something under his bed. Check. Might not be a monster though. There might be an energy or a thought form that needs to be looked at or cleansed or just
Whatever.
told, go away.
Yeah,
Might not be evil things, probably not.
yeah.
You know, there's a lot of emotions are left. People think their houses are haunted by spirits, when actually it could just be strong emotions that are left behind in rooms. People are sad, or if there's a lot of fighting in a house. I do house cleansings, like I'll walk around and feel different corners of a house where, there might be a lot of energy that's in the corners. But it's very seldom like any negative spirit that's there. Ghosts of loved ones, they watch over us. Their energy, their orbs, they have no bodies. You can catch an orb on an electronic device. Now with computers and the digital cameras, and people have seen them all the time.
They're there. They're
there.
very common.
Now it's funny because when I'm not doing readings, I hardly think about this stuff. I just walk around kind of.
Well, that's
guarded.
good.
Yeah, I don't really. And if I'm at a party or a social gathering, people might say, "Oh, what do you do?" I'll say, "I have a shop in Woodstock." I never tell people. Not that I'm ashamed of it. I don't want to get into it. Like,
Well, I think that goes with, like, if you're at a party and somebody says, "Oh, and what do you do?" "I'm a doctor." Immediately they start
Yeah.
telling you about
Oh,
their
yeah.
diseases.
Oh.
So if you tell them you have a shop in
Oh.
Woodstock, then you
That's
don't
what I
have
say.
to deal with
That's what I
their
say.
psychic
Yeah.
issues.
no. And it's been, I think it's for anyone who's done the same job for a long time, it gets a little tedious. Like, I could do, like, during the day, and this is just a typical day with me. I have a wonderful son, but he's very logical. I don't know how that happened. I just, I think he's embarrassed by me too, because this, and I go home at the end of the day, and it's funny because during the course of my day, I might have talked to somebody's dead father or grandmother or son, unfortunately, or something, and I go home and he doesn't ask me how was your day or something, and I just like pretend nothing unusual happened. And it's like, if he knew what happened, that the woman was crying and specific things were coming out, it's just a day. It's like a work day for me. Now, I'm not saying I'm like, I think I tell everyone can do this if you let go. Like, people write to me a lot and say, "I want you to talk to my mother. Can you promise to do that?" And I'm like, "No, I can't promise that. She might not want to talk to you. And anyway, you can talk to her yourself. Just don't be afraid to talk out loud.
Right.
Talk to her.
Right.
You don't need me.
I
You don't
definitely
need me.
go with that.
You don't need me. You just don't have to put your faith in someone else. You can do it yourself. You just have to believe you can. I think everything is done with personal belief. That's all you need.
I don't even think it takes personal belief. I wrote a book in which I tell my readers that I heard from my grandmother. And a couple of 3 days ago, I was in Barnes & Noble and I was flipping through the books. And there was a writer who talked about her grandmother. And of course, now I couldn't go back to that book if I wanted to. I couldn't find it. But I thought that is so neat. And I believe that writers, they get into that world, whether it's realistic or fiction or nonfiction or whatever, they get into it.
Some of the funniest things that have happened, like since this book was written. 2 years ago, I went to Edinburgh, Scotland, which I loved. I mean, it's Scotland. And of course, I spend so much of my time when I travel to England or Scotland in graveyards and in old churches, because that's where I love to go. And I find them beautiful and peaceful. And I decided to take this ghost tour in Edinburgh. And it was like 8 o'clock at night. And I'm walking around there. And the man who's conducting the ghost tour, I swear this, it's Scotland at night. He turns to me and he goes, "Are you Susan Saxman? I read your book." He's wearing a hood. I'm wearing a tartan scarf around my head. And I'm like, is this for real? How did you recognize me? Darkness in Scotland? And he's like, oh. And then he friended me on Facebook. And sure enough, yeah. In the dark night in Scotland, under Edinburgh Castle, he recognized me.
That's great.
Crazy. It's crazy who finds you out of that.
When you write something, you do it one word at a time. One word at a time. And a minute and a half is all it takes for somebody to get into that finished product. So that's all it took him was a minute and a half.
He remembered. He recognized me, which is so crazy.
Well, sure he did. Don't you think he recognized your voice? He recognized.
I guess so. And I guess maybe I signed something where I said where I was from. But there are. We talk about there have been. I named, of course, the reluctant psychic because this is not something I said, well, I want to be a psychic. I want to be, as, the worst thing to call me is a fortune teller. Because that, of course, brings mind of like gypsies on the boardwalk, which maybe I'll inevitably end up being.
In retirement.
God, shoot me, please. Anyway, an example of this is that exactly 4 years ago, I got a letter from a woman in New Zealand who's like, "I love your book so much. Please come and we will show you and host you and show you our beautiful country." So I'm a big believer in meant to be. Aren't you? Like if something's meant to be. So I was like, I've always wanted to go to Australia and New Zealand. Of course, this is meant to be. And
this was your chance.
This was my chance. And all my friends here at the time in Woodstock were like, don't go. There's something fishy about this, don't go. They were right. So I got off the plane and immediately she put in my hands, didn't know because I can't read for myself. She put in my hand a list of all the people that she had scheduled, paid for readings already, paid her, but she took 25% off for herself, commission. And there were about 95 people.
Oh my gosh.
Plus lectures and plus group readings. All paid, they all paid for through her.
She wrapped up the whole country for you.
Yeah, she did. But you know what? I didn't see it. I didn't see 1 ounce of that, 1 mile of that country. I have no memory of New Zealand or Australia. So basically, I went. I don't remember it. I didn't see it.
You have to go back.
I guess so. I'm not going to visit that woman again. I spent the whole time being in a yoga center, and I came home with less money than I make here, usually in a week.
Well, hey, you know, but did you get good experience?
Yeah, I learned not to go to Australia to see strangers, but that talk show was the best experience. That man, that the 2 million people watched with me, because everyone told me, don't go on that talk show, he's going to rip you apart. And we turned out to be we're fine. Because we were on the show, and I was not nervous. It was the Paul Henry show, and he's known to be a real skeptic with psychics. And we went on, and I said, you know, Paul, I said, people don't like you, but I do. He's like, I like you too. And he was getting really nervous. And I said something, and this might be snippets of this on my Facebook page, or the Reluctant Psychic Facebook page. And I said to him, I said, you just want to take it all off, don't you? You like to be nude. Turns out he's a nudist. And he kept playing that thing with the Alleluia chorus behind it. He's like, how did you know that? And I said, your heart's as big as Arkansas, isn't it? He's like, do you know, since that time on the show, he retired, left New Zealand, and guess where he moved to? Arkansas.
You know, Arkansas is one of the most delightful places in the whole world.
I have no idea. I don't even know why I said Arkansas.
Have you ever been to Arkansas?
No, I have never. I never even said.
Have you heard anything about Arkansas?
No.
Well, Arkansas is really poor now. It's really poor.
Paul Henry.
And it's really in the middle of nowhere. But there are waters there. You can take the waters.
Really?
And during the Prohibition, you know, Pretty Boy Floyd and Babyface Nelson and all of that crowd,
interesting.
they were there. That's where they went to hide from the feds. And those old buildings are still there.
Wow.
It was one of the most delightful places that I've been in the whole country.
I
But
have-
to get there, forget it.
Well, from New Zealand to Arkansas, he's a really successful man. So I just don't even know why I said Arkansas that day. And I know it didn't influence him moving there, but the fact is there was a connection. And that's
It
what came
just
into my
slipped
head.
out.
It just slipped out. And that was played in Australia. That whole little segment was played over and over and over.
Do you ever run across young people or middle-aged people or old people or any type of person who's thinking about becoming a psychic? Do you ever say things to them?
I say to them, I believe, and people will also disagree with this, it can't be taught. You just have to accept it. You have to accept your own psychic ability and just open yourself to it, not be afraid. Because so often people, once again, just get scared of like giving into something, and they get scared of things. I mean, I know, you know, people use tarot cards. I use cards to look at, but I don't go by the book meaning of it. I don't, like I said, I don't follow no directions or rules. And I just say what comes in my head. Problem is, I have no filter either. So.
But that's okay. You
it
know,
just flies out. And I let them tape every session.
when every time I get an opportunity, I get my cards read because I read cards. And
Yes,
I
you
have,
do. That's
I'm
right.
sorry?
You do, I know you do. Yeah.
Now it's better.
Yes.
But one of the things that I do is I am not psychic, so
Don't say that, I think you are.
You think I
I
am?
think you are, I could tell by your eyes.
Oh, really? Wow. Well, I read the cards. To the best of my ability, I read the cards because I have been trained. But several times I have gone into a tarot reading and immediately the person, I realize, you don't know anything about the tarot. You're just talking to me.
Yeah.
Talk from the heart.
Talk from the heart, and that's what you have to do.
And that's the psychic part.
That's the psychic part. That's when you go off the formula, so to speak, and you just go off and say
Yeah.
what you want to do.
And-
And that's what needs to be, yeah.
Wow. Well, so Have you got another book planned?
Well, every time I had another book planned, and every time I tried to begin it, the TV people, which has been waiting for 2 years, said, "Oh, save the stories for the television show." So now, just when I was starting, I have it half written, and it was cool. I don't even want to say the name because I still might use it. It was cool.
Well, you know,
But
I think that when you write something and then somebody comes to you and says, "Oh, don't do that, save
they
this."
said don't. They said
But if
save
you
it.
write it,
Yeah, it's different than
it's-
watching it. Yeah.
right. And plus, when you
Yeah.
write it, it sort of it gels things in your brain.
Well, the thing is with this, I think it touched upon some things with childhood and all that, but it wasn't everything, and there were some parts of it I prefer to have not have in it. I think it was a little bit too pasteurized for the world. I think there's wilder things in it that I could have put in it, and I think that the editor was a little too conservative, frankly.
Well, but what did you learn in writing that first book? What wisdom did you come out of with that first
I
book?
don't want anyone to tell me what to put in and not what. I listened too much from someone who I thought had experience, who actually misled me. And I think my way of saying things would have been a great deal more powerful than the way it came out. So I could do better next time.
How long did it take you to
A
get
year.
that only took you a year?
Yeah.
Oh, girl, that's fast.
It
You
was
were on
fast.
warp speed.
And it took a year, and immediately was picked up by agents for fighting for it. It was
Well,
picked
yeah.
up immediately. And a month after it came out, I was taken to Hollywood, and they wanted, the studios were fighting for it. And Shonda Rhimes picked it up and wanted the woman who does Murder, She Wrote and Grey's Anatomy. And she bought the rights to it, but kept it for 2 years, and the contract went out, and that didn't happen. But now I'm glad it didn't happen, because the people who have interest in it now are way cooler and want it to go to cable.
Oh, that's good. So time kind of caught up to your book.
Caught up to it, and I'm going to have a lot more say in what's going on. And it's not just going to be based on the book. It's going to go with flashbacks too. I would travel to, there's going to be a lot of flashbacks to my early days, doing readings in London in the early 80s, and with the punk rock girls. And I thought they were the coolest people in the world. And to me, they were beautiful. And they were just like, thank you. And they would walk around with pet rats on their shoulders. And they were just with their mohawks. This is the beginning of that. And I thought they were just lovely. They were really kind. I mean, over here you guys have the hippies in Woodstock, but I was over there, and I was influenced by them tremendously. And they just loved my readings. And I would do it on the street for them. And they were just lovely. And they've also inspired me to have pet rats. And I had 30.
Oh, did you really?
30 pet rats, and rats make wonderful pets, and they're sweet and never bite, and they're smart.
Oh, very smart.
So I have, I have rats tattooed on my back. But I don't have any now. I just have the pink and white dog.
Oh, well, your
That
dog is
loves you.
adorable.
She's even not a normal dog. Nothing I have around me, I don't have normal. Can't have normal. I don't know. It's just,
Well, and what is normal
what
anyway?
is normal? I'm just a freak. I walk through town and people,
I
here she comes. Like this.
I try not to walk through town.
I walk with my head down or my eyes averted.
And it's
Scare
so
people.
crowded
It's
now.
too crowded, and they also have big trucks. I don't like all that.
Where did the trucks come
Where
from?
did the trucks come from? I don't know. I don't like it. Scares the dog. It's too much. Don't like it.
Do you ever, I guess you do, see a person and you see a picture, or do you work with pictures? Do you
I do work with pictures. They give me pictures, and I see. It's gotten to the point, and I realize that when I see a person in front of me, I see their memories.
Oh.
So it's like past, present, and future all happening at once.
Wow.
And I see it very fast. And I've come to, okay, this is interesting. I used to be really only on track of the metaphysical, and now I see, I don't know if I can explain this right. I think it's quantum physics. Past, all time is happening at once. So
That's
when
quantum
things,
physics.
yeah, so when things are predicted in the future, it's like I'm just going to that future. It's not even like mysticism anymore. It's like I see a path in the future this could happen. It's like going into, and I actually feel myself falling, like falling in my head, if that makes sense. It's a feeling of great, like pulling. It happens very much in the third eye area. So to me, it's like I see the body changes coming over me, and I feel it. And I know that like people watch me, and I know I'm kind of not there anymore. I feel the, like, kind of weakness happen. One thing that's happening through the years is that my blood pressure gets extremely low, and I am extremely thin. And that comes from the readings, I'm convinced.
Wow.
I think it takes life force. And it's not from lack of eating. I am a vegetarian, but I could eat, and I'm thinner now than ever. So I think it's the amount of readings, and I think it's just like feeling that pulling is taking me away.
Takes your energy
Takes
away.
energy away.
And
Yeah.
you said that you do get calls or whatever, and you say, okay, this one is no and this one is yes.
Yeah.
What do you feel?
My conventional son is my, he works on my schedule, so we go through the names, and I'll tell him, nope, that one's okay, that one's okay. And he's like a guard dog. He has it right down, like, no, you cannot come. Yes, this one's all right. So it's funny. Yeah, he kind of protects me in that way, and yet he thinks he's like, I don't know what you do, but you do some kind of magic. But he doesn't want to give in to like this.
I don't think it's magic at all.
No, it's not. I don't consciously do anything. I don't do anything. Before a person comes for a session, I'm not in there meditating. I'm not burning incense. I'm reading a book. I take out books from the library, like my friend Sarah's like, she's like, you're like an old person. You go to the library and you read like so much. I read so many books, but I do it for my little getting away.
Yeah, it's the fiction.
The fiction.
Do you find it difficult?
Yeah.
Because Van Prague, and then Karen White's sister-in-law sees death,
Yeah.
and then there's another guy, a young guy, and
that young guy.
I've
Yeah.
seen him a couple of times
Yeah.
on television, and he's struggling.
I find it very difficult, and I feel like when people are ill when they come to me, there is an absolute feeling that when people are terminally ill, where I actually have had to get up from the table and I actually throw up. And I never tell a person, ever, oh, you're going to die. Even if I feel they're going to die, I'll say, you have to go to a doctor. You have to get this looked at. Because I feel like, okay, there's a story in my book. It's not actually illness, but there is a story about a boy that I saw in Florida about 15 years ago. He had just gotten his driver's license, and his mother wanted him to come for a reading. He sat down in front of me. Immediately I saw a car crash. Now, how do you tell a 16-year-old boy, don't get your license or you can never drive? No. I said, be very careful in the car. But every time I looked at him, all I could see was a car crash and blood on the highway.
Oh, wow.
So I went to the mother and I said, you've got to be careful with Toby driving because it's not good. And she said, I told him even when he's trying to drive, it's really bad. I get a call 3 months later.
Mm-hmm.
He was dead. He wasn't the driver. He was a
Really?
passenger. He was a passenger on a Florida highway. His friend was driving and had been drinking, and car crash, and he was dead. His friend
Wow.
wasn't.
So it was there.
It was there. There was no, and I kept thinking, is there a way I could have prevented this from happening? No. No, it was inevitable. It was inevitable.
Isn't that interesting?
So what's frustrating is that sometimes I feel like this, whatever this is not necessarily a gift. Because what good is it? I can't tell him never go in a car. And yet, he died anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so is it this knowledge any good for anyone? So I get discouraged. Like, what does it all mean? You know, is it good? But then people say I'm helping them.
I don't
know.
I think when people feel positive about their situations, then they're not going to seek outside help.
Yes.
So that you do not get the positive.
Well, there have been, I would say it's only happened like 40% of the time when there have been people who have come to see me that were so negative that I had to refuse them.
Wow.
That they sat there at the table. And not negative in a way like they were close to suicide or anything, but negative in a way like they just were nasty. And they just were like, I was like, get out.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Because everything you said was like, like, why were they even there? It was like, they were so nasty that I couldn't work with them.
Oh my goodness.
So bad.
And they came to you.
And they came to me, and one girl drove from Long Island and was really angry. And of course I didn't charge them because I was like, you know, you didn't get the reading, but you have to, I can't do it. And
An attitude adjustment.
Attitude was really negative. And that doesn't happen a lot that I've sent people away like that once they come. But it's happened, it does happen. And there are people that come to the door that I absolutely dread. When I see them coming for return, I'm like, oh God, no. What could I possibly have told them 3 months ago that they're coming back for the same? You know,
Do you ever say, no, you can't come back now for 2 years?
Yeah, I do. And usually I say can't come sooner than 6 months. But they want to sometimes.
Well, Abraham was the same way. I didn't necessarily see Abraham as a psychic, but she was the woman. I don't know if you. She may be still around. She used to talk, and then she did private readings, and she would do telephone readings.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine called her up and saw her, and then she told her, "Now you can't
come back.
You can't call me back anymore."
The other thing I have with the telephone thing is that if I went that route, and this sounds silly business-wise, I don't think I would ever have a moment to myself. The waiting list and onslaught of people is ridiculous. I'm booked right now till November.
Really?
And
amazing.
It gives me a great deal of anxiety. I'm not ever looking for people. And I'm not saying this to be like, oh, I have so many clients. It's mind-boggling to me how they find me, where they're coming from.
Is this what psychics live with? Is this the industry?
I've never advertised in my life. I've never advertised. I never have. This is the only advertisement I've ever done in the book.
Did this change
your
business?
Well, I thought that, more people came because of this, and it allowed me to, frankly, to raise my price a bit, to the point I thought that it would make less people come. No, it didn't. So I'm the one that thought maybe less people would come. Nope. I guess, really, when I hear myself talking just now, I guess it would be nicer to have less. It sounds terrible. But I think I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, because what else am I going to do? What else? I mean, I want to write. I want to write. That's really it.
Do you have a writing schedule? Do you like write?
No, I can't have any schedule.
You don't have a schedule?
No, because it's frankly, when I come home from doing what I do all day, I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about ghosts and psychic stuff. I just want to watch a movie on Netflix and walk with my dog. I'm that shallow. And then I have these two wonderful friends who I love dearly, this father and son. I love them so much. And they want to go on, they go with me on, we do paranormal investigations on days off sometimes. We go to like old cemeteries and different places up north, like Saratoga area. And we like going to abandoned places to look for ghosts. And that's fun to me because it's with other people. So I've been doing so much on my own. So we just started doing that recently.
Do you organize those
It's
tours?
just the four of us.
Oh, it's just
Yeah,
the
it's
four
just
of
the
you.
four of us. It's my friend Wendy and his father and son and I. And we love doing it because it's a little different. We're on. But that's the kind of thing I do by myself in England, where I go into tunnels and I go into graveyards and all this. I'm not afraid.
Do you go into old hotels and things?
We're going to here. Yeah.
Because, you know, there are really a lot of abandoned...
The Overlook Hotel up the mountain?
Well, but there are a lot of abandoned hotels.
Really?
Yeah, in the Hudson
Okay.
Valley.
We're probably going to go back up there, yeah, to the falls area. I forgot what it's called. Up by Tannersville, probably.
Oh, Tannersville's got a lot of...
Full of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot
I
of
think-
old buildings that are...
We want to, but it's fun because we just ordered a spirit box. You know, they pick up ghost voices and stuff.
Oh, do they really? Where did you find it?
On the internet, you can buy anything apparently. So we're just taking it to the next level. You know, we're just going to different weird places. I just wanted companions to do this with because it's been kind of lonely, you know, doing this on my own for so long.
Could you do walking tours of Woodstock?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think there are
I
enough?
don't know enough.
You don't think there are enough ghosts in Woodstock?
No. I go to the cemetery by myself and I don't feel enough.
That's good.
I don't, yeah. I wish I
Then
felt
for all of
more.
the kookiness, the
I'm
cemeteries
surprised.
tell the truth that Woodstock is very calm.
Yeah, really is.
That's
I don't
great.
feel a lot of ghosts here. I really don't. I feel like everyone here is kind of left. And it's changed a lot, even since I came here in 2006. It's not as cozy as it was.
Oh, Woodstock is not the same as it was in 2006.
No,
Not at all.
Not at all. And
What brought you to Woodstock if you came to Woodstock in 2006?
I was living in New Jersey, doing what I did do in New Jersey, which I didn't fit into. I mean, I had pet rats. I mean, living in a condo in Bedminster, New Jersey. I mean, not good. And the person that I was with at the time was a very conservative lawyer who was the owner of that. He's a landlord that's charging $4,500.
He's making a small fortune.
Plastic Bob, we call him. He looks like a Ken doll. Well, he did. He looks terrible now. Anyway, he literally put me out to pasture, and he said, "You belong with these crazy people in Woodstock."
Did
And
he really?
Yeah, he really did. And he bought that building.
I
which was
remember
my
you
store.
wrote about him very
plastic-
positively.
Well, it was terrible. And he bought the building. He said, "Here, you belong here with these people. You belong with these freaks." And I'm like, I guess in a way I should be thankful for him to bring me to Woodstock. I had the store, and I was there for about 15 years or something, until he tripled the rent and threw me out.
Well, and you got the book.
I got the book.
And in the book, you have some really nice questions. And I
Yeah.
remember in the book, you talked about the Renaissance fairs.
Yeah, I worked at the Renaissance Fair for 10 years. And it was so funny because I am such a psychic snob that I would not be on Mystics Row with the other psychics. I would not be. I was like, I need to have my own place because the other psychics don't like me.
Really?
They don't like me. No. I don't really. Maybe it's because I am a snob. I just don't talk about.
Do you know any psychics that are popular among psychics?
I don't really know a whole lot. I don't.
I don't. Of course, I don't. I mean, I don't know that many
They just
psychics,
don't
but I
like
don't
me.
know any that are
They don't like me.
in. You know.
I haven't really had dealings with many, but I know I get a lot of glares.
Oh, really?
And I just walk by. It's
Oh my
not warm and
gosh.
fuzzy. It's just a lot of like, yeah. So it's like I just mind my own business. I'm not going to be overly friendly. I'm not friendly anymore because I no longer like humans. So
Right. Let me ask you something.
I have to say what my favorite poet, Lord Byron, said. It's not that I love humans less. It's just that I love nature more.
If you have advice to a young person, what is it?
Believe that anything is possible. Don't be scared of the dark, and don't limit yourself saying, oh, it's just my imagination. Because there really isn't any. Imagination's real.
And I noticed that when you're a psychic, when a person is a psychic, there are different things that you can do. There are people who, find murderers. There are people who clear out buildings. There are people who help people with their problems. There are a lot of different ways that you can go.
There's different ways you can go. I even wrote in my book that I used to work for the police finding missing children.
That's a
Not
toughie.
good. Not
That
good.
is a
They were
toughie.
always dead. Always dead when I found them. I could find the location, always dead.
I
So
know
I
that's a
stopped
toughie.
it. Particularly when my son was little, I stopped doing it because it was like, everyone was dead. No one's ever found alive, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
So
And
I
then it
stopped
doesn't
working.
make any difference at that point?
No, I stopped working for the police. And I don't even like when people ask me about missing pets because, frankly, they're probably dead too. I could look at the missing pet signs and say, oh, that one's gone, that one's maybe kidnapped. It's not usually good.
The problem I have with finding pets, and I haven't done it, well, I have done it some with animal communication, is that you can't really tell whether they are alive or dead. You're hearing from them.
You're hearing, yeah.
And they'll tell you where they are.
Yes.
But you don't know anything beyond that. And I kind of,
Because they can't differentiate maybe if they're alive or dead.
Right.
Yeah.
At that point, they don't tell.
Yeah,
Or
I
they don't
get
want to
that.
tell. Because I think
They don't want to
animals...
upset us.
Animals have a
Dear
way of
friends.
kind of, they'll jolly you along. They'll
Sure.
say what they think they're supposed to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
So you have a TV show possibly coming up. You are booked until November.
No, I sound so pompous. I'm sorry.
It is not pompous.
When they hear me, they're
no.
going to hate me more.
It sounds overworked.
I am tired and I have great anxiety because never once do I go into work thinking, oh, I know everything. I wake up every morning and go, I know nothing. Why does anybody come to see me?
Because you know nothing, so
I
it
know
comes
nothing.
to you.
Exactly.
It comes to you.
I'm an empty channel.
Absolutely.
I know nothing, and it's not like I'm sitting there, like I said, meditating or oming my heart out or doing what people do. I am not grounding myself. Like everyone says, you must ground yourself.
Oh, poop.
You know what? If I grounded myself, I may not be getting these.
Right.
this
If you grounded
information.
yourself,
Nope.
you'd be doing something else.
And you know
Do
what?
you-
I have music blasting in the store before the person comes.
Does Shadow come with you?
Oh, ghost?
Yes.
Same thing all the time. And you know what she does during the readings? Sleeps. She sleeps during every reading. She's never awake. She just lays there.
She is the most adorable,
I know.
adorable.
She's an adorable girl. She's like an angel dog or a ghost. She's not, I don't even know she's there. She sleeps during the readings, and at the end of them, she wakes up.
It's all over now. I'm going to wake up.
Yeah, she's like sleeping, and sometimes I check on her when I talk about a dog in spirit, because I feel like, is she giving me this information? And by the way, not only dogs come through in readings, people's bunnies from 25 years ago come through. I've even had like snakes come through, fish. So the animals want to be remembered.
What makes a person want to find their grandmother?
I think it's not for the grandmother at all. It's for the person. They feel they have unfinished business. It makes them feel better.
After they communicate with that person, they feel better?
Yeah, but they really could do it at home. Or just take a picture of your grandmother out and talk to her out loud. The out loud is just the vibrations of the words out in the universe. Call the spirit first through, or let them come through easier. It's also that they tend to be around more during their birthday and the death day. Almost the same. The spirit, they come through easier. And then when their job is done, or they don't want to be here anymore, some people, their mothers, their fathers don't want to communicate at all. They're done here. They want to go. And it's funny, how many people have said to me, oh, I'm done with this life. I don't want to come back. You know how weird it is here and how chaotic and horrifying at times? I want to come back.
Do you really?
I really do. And I'll probably come back and I'll probably be doing this all over again. Because
what's going to happen with the pandemic?
I think a new strain of it's coming. And it's not, we may not go back to normal for a very long time.
I think that's gone. That's done.
Normal's done.
Done.
Normal's done. And this may be how it's going to be for a long time. The world is in chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And people who are hopeful, you know, I'm trying to say don't be hopeful, but concentrate on making your own little life with your families better, because it's crazy. You know,
I don't see any.
It's not going to be normal.
I don't. It's a new thing that we don't know what is yet. Is that?
It's not good.
No,
it's
not for us. It's not.
No,
good.
It's not good. I think the children will make it work. The one, you know, but this is chaos, and it's.
Well, you know, the planet was overpopulated.
It was.
It is overpopulated, and it's hot. It's hot, and so we have to depopulate, and we have to cool down.
How I feel. That's why the pandemic came.
You think that's why it came?
I think there were too many people. And that sounds horrible to some, but I have to say, I've said this in the beginning. Humans were not treating the earth right. They're destroying nature, and something had to come and
clean house.
Clean house. And it's going to happen again. And I'm sorry some good people had to leave, but we as a species have destroyed too much.
I kind of agree with everything that you say. I'm not sure that what you're saying is psychic.
No, I'm
but
not.
just common sense. I just believe that this is what is happening.
And that's why we have destroyed, and it's going to be worse because the have we evolved as humans? No, we've gotten stupid. I've seen more stupidity, or maybe it's because of Facebook or the media. That's why I'm becoming more and more into nature and away from humans, because I'm disgusted. And I've actually put on Facebook, on social media, I no longer want to be regarded as a human anymore. Call me an animal.
We are animals.
We're animals. I don't want
we
to be
are.
put in the
You're
human
either
species.
animals, you're either flora or fauna, you know?
I don't want to be categorized with human beings. I'm something else.
Yes, well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. Don't you think, let me ask you a big question. Don't you feel that everyone who's thinking at all is redefining himself or herself now. Maybe you're not going to do it instantly. Maybe it's going to take a few weeks or a few months or even the rest of the year or maybe next year. We are redefining ourselves.
I'm just afraid that there are not enough people thinking.
Oh, you don't think this is causing people to think? That's interesting.
I see a lot of stupid going on.
Well, there's probably a lot of stupid.
But there might be more people. Maybe there's people thinking.
Maybe there are people that's how they defend themselves, is with stupidity. You know, going out in crowds and, you know, not wearing masks and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's probably it.
You know.
Yeah.
But that's it.
So that's why I get kind of like, do I want to do this? I have to do it. And I'll do it again. I'll come back.
I have a lot of. Am I going to come back? Oh, I believe so.
Oh yeah.
I believe so. I never have. There are some questions about my life that I have not answered.
I'm going to come back.
And the big question in my life is, why did I end up in the pantry at my age?
You can't help nurturing people. You can't help it.
But why didn't I get the pantry when I was 30 and had the energy? When I was 70, by the time I was 70, you know.
I can't believe you're 70. How are you 70?
Oh, I'm older than 70. I'm older than 70. Oh, no. How many? Oh, wait a minute. We only have 4 minutes left.
What?
Do you? Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's
Listen, we have 4 minutes. What would you like to say, my dear? This is your message.
Be kind to the earth.
Be kind to the earth.
Be kind to the earth. Be kind to animals. They have a right to be here as much as you do.
When I think of that, I think about the tigers and the lions
I know.
that they live in zoos because they have no home.
Because people can't have, it's empathy. It's empathy is, like, I can't, ever since I was a little girl, and maybe this is a psychic thing, or maybe this was just my ability, or compassion. I could not look at an animal without seeing in its mind. That's how the psychic stuff started. And that's why I became a vegetarian at 8.
Go girl.
And I never ate meat. And that meat was forced down my throat, or they tried to, and I said no.
Good
I
girl.
have not eaten anything with a face.
Good for you.
No fish, no chicken, no
Nothing.
red meat, no poultry.
No red meat.
And
no
I'm still
poultry.
here.
We're still going.
Still going.
You're probably healthier than the rest of us.
Probably. I never really get sick. I like the, but I could not eat it, even not knowing even what vegetarians were, because I was like, that's an animal. I will not eat a living thing. I could not eat anything with consciousness.
Oh, and you think about the farming.
Oh, God.
Oh
My God.
It's so
I
sad.
can't. And that was like what I think that's what started when I realized I can go in another person, a creature's mind, and see what they're thinking. See what they're thinking and see their memories.
Wow.
It was looking at animals as a child.
Well, thank you very
You're
much
welcome.
for coming. This was great. This
Thank
was
you.
fun.
Thank you.
Hold up your book. Can we hold up the book?
The Reluctant Psychic.
Thank you so much.
You could also get it on audio.
Can you get it on Amazon?
Amazon, yeah.
And
Right
you
now.
have it on audio. Did you do it?
No, but she was really good. I did not do it.
I have been trying to do my Healer's Handbook on audio. I am so terrible. Oh, it is so awful.
This book was published by St. Martin's Press. You think the big publishing companies would help?
No.
Not at all.
That's why I'm kind of doing it on my own.
Did everything on my own.
Yeah.
Really on my own.
Yeah, you have to.
Nobody helped.
They're not going to.
I thought
That's
it was
because
gonna be-
we are not young. They want a young writer that they can raise up, get you in your 20s or 30s, and then mature you and make a lot of money over time. But once you're over 35, forget
They
it.
don't want
One gray hair.
amazing. It was amazing how they did absolutely nothing.
No. They don't see 6 or 8 books. They don't see 6 or 8 books. They don't see John Grisham. They don't see David Baldacci. They don't see...
Say good night.
Good night. Thank you so much.
night.
We enjoyed it.
Thank you.